Well, as Phil just mentioned, Russia has suspended a key line of communication with the US in Syria, the so-called hotline. I just spoke with Pentagon reporter Ryan Brown about that a short time ago. Take a listen.
They have announced that they've submitted formally that they will be terminating this deconfliction channel, as it's called, and it was set up, as you said, to prevent any kind of aerial collision or miscommunication that could lead to the U.S. and Russian airplanes firing upon each other. And this actually is in a really critical time because the U.S. has ramped up the number of airstrikes it's doing in Syria against ISIS. And so you have more and more chances of a potential interaction between Russian and U.S. and coalition forces. In addition, the U.S. has about 1,000 troops on the ground in Syria, and this same channel is used to kind of help prevent an accidental Russian or U.S. airstrike against each other's forces on the ground. And it was this channel that the U.S. used to alert Russia that it was going to strike this airbase, this Syrian airbase, to prevent any Russian casualties. So definitely an issue given the amount of use that this channel has been undergoing in these recent days.
And in the meantime, the Pentagon is looking into whether Russia may have been complicit in this chemical attack. What can you tell us about the investigation?
Well, that's right. The military is looking at two things in particular. One is the fact that there were Russian personnel at the Shayrat Air Base that where the chemical weapons originated from. And the kind of thought is, how could Russian forces there not be aware that these chemical bombs were being loaded on Syrian warplanes that were involved in this strike? And the other thing they're looking at, there was a Russian drone observed hovering over the hospital that was struck 5 hours after the chemical attack. Now, it's believed by some that that strike against that hospital was an effort to cover up the chemical attack because many of those who suffered from that chemical attack were being treated there. Now, of course, Russia operates a lot of drones in the area, so one of the things they're looking at is whether or not that drone was feeding in targeting information. So these are all some of the things that the U.S. military is examining to see whether or not there was Russian complicity in that chemical weapons attack.
All right, Ryan Brown staying across it for us at the Pentagon. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Ryan Brown there. Well, Russia is shrugging off a snub by Britain's top diplomat. UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson has called off a scheduled visit to Moscow on Monday, citing the situation in Syria. The Russian Foreign Ministry says that is an absurd decision. It accused Western diplomats of, quote, living in their own reality. Well, still to come on CNN Newsroom, the crisis in Syria raising fears for those who managed to escape, but also renewed hope for an end to the horrors of war. What two Syrian sisters who live in the US have to say about the conflict.